And welcome to the End Time Show for our channel. I'm Gerald. We'll be discussing Flakka influence murder, zombies, demon possession. Now, I ran into this article up on last week. It was on the christiannews.net, and I was on Facebook. And this article grabbed my attention. I did further research in regards to this particular case. Now, the title of the article, It turns users into zombies, Pennsylvania men behind bars at the Flakka influence murder. Now, this murder case is going on in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I'm going to read a couple of excerpts from the article, and it states, 2 Pennsylvania men are behind bars in connection with a homicide case that is believed to have been carried out under the influence of Flakka. James Hennebeck, 30, and Charles Yoakum, 32, both of Bethlehem area, are accused of killing Joseph Goddard, 28, this month after investigators found the man's bloody and bitten body in the trunk of a vehicle. So the man that was found dead, Joseph Goddard, his body was, number one, bloody, and it was bitten. According to WFMZ TV and the Pocono Record, the Sorcery began when Hennebeck's landlord went to his apartment to speak to him about renewing his lease, and when he did, it was not an answer. The landlord opened the door and found the dwelling splattered with blood. The landlord then called the police, who not only found substantial amount of blood, but also evidence of drug use. They set out to find Hennebeck and were told by his mother that he was being treated at an area hospital. Police discovered that Hennebeck had been arrested by other officers who found him delusional, shouting in the streets in his underwear, and he had been taken into custody for public intoxication and transported to the Pocono Medical Center for treatment. Upon interviewing Hennebeck's, police were told that the 3 snorted Flakka after Goddard brought it to Hennebeck's apartment. And Hennebeck said that Goddard began attacking him during the visit, punching him, biting his hands, and police noted that Hennebeck did indeed have scratches on his arms, bite marks on his hands, and bruises on his face. But Hennebeck said that he did not remember what happened after that time. Yoakum, who was found running through the woods, told the police that he saw Hennebeck strike Goddard in the head with the shotgun and rolled his body into a carpet and placed it in the trunk of the car. So, people, when you take like illicit drugs, such as Flakka, it opens up a spiritual portal in the spirit realm, which we can't see. And we are in a spiritual battle because Ephesians 6:12 says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against evil, demonic spirits and evil angels in another dimension in the spirit world. So Satan uses these drugs as a bait. You want to get high, you want to feel good, you feel really good when you take these drugs, and you obtain and you achieve this high. And then these demons enter in, and you're a host body, you're hosting these demonic spirits, and then they begin to manifest themselves in evil, treacherous, perverse ways, such as biting, violence. They love blood, they're bloodthirsty murderers, and they enter in these human bodies. And they end up making these individuals who take these drugs look like a fool and cause them to do destructive things and utterly or ultimately end up bringing self-destruction upon them. Even when we look at the scriptures and it talks about the mindset of Satan, in John 10:10 it says, "The thief cometh not but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And I come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly." So when we look at Habakkuk, Gada, and Joachim, these are young adult men who allowed themselves to take the bait of Satan and bring utter destruction upon their lives. Gada's dead at a young age of 29 years old, and Habakkuk and Joachim in their early 30s are now looking to spend time behind bars, and their minds are devastated by this drug because Satan, he's a thief. He came and he stole their future. He came and he stole their dreams and their goals to have a long, productive life. And he ultimately brought destruction. So we have to realize the wiles of the enemy and the devastation that this drug brings upon individuals, and realize that we're definitely living in the last days and that we're living in the end times, and we need to prepare our hearts to really receive Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior and spiritually discern the sign of the times and begin to look up, because redemption is drawing nigh and Jesus is soon to come back.
Tonight, Bethlehem police are investigating one of the most bizarre murder cases you'll ever hear about. The victim, his name's not yet been revealed.
The accused, what were they doing? Police say one was arrested after running around in traffic in the Poconos with no clothes on. He apparently told police he and his accomplice and the victim had all ingested the so-called zombie drug Flakka.
The victim ended up in the trunk of a car. WFMZ's Kelly Gibbs is live at the Bethlehem Police headquarters with the latest tonight. Kelly.
Wendy, that's right. The car was investigated here last night, and that's when police came across the victim. Now, this all started on Friday as a missing persons case.
This started as a missing person case between him and several of his friends.
But the investigation quickly shifted. 30-year-old James Heimbach has now been charged with homicide. On Friday, Heimbach's landlord told police he found traces of blood on the floors and walls of Heimbach's 945 East 6th Street residence in Bethlehem. Days later, police learned the 30-year-old was picked up in the Poconos.
Well, the first thing that stuck out is he had no clothes on. He had underwear on, and he was clearly under the influence of something.
Officer Timothy McNosey of the Pocono Township Police Department says on Saturday around 4 p.m., Heimbach emerged from these woods at the corner of Route 715 and Sullivan Trail in Pocono Township. McNosey says Heimbach was responsive but not coherent.
Sweaty, obviously in distress.
Heimbach was placed under arrest for public intoxication and taken to the Pocono Medical Center. McNosey says the next day his department was contacted by Bethlehem police.
They informed us that this person was a person of interest in a homicide.
Police say this is where they found the vehicle that brought Heimbach to the Poconos. A gray Saab in the parking lot of this Weiss supermarket at the Tannersville Plaza. Police say the vehicle was taken back to Bethlehem.
Bethlehem Police Department located a body in the trunk. The body was desecrated.
Police say Heimbach's accomplice, 32-year-old Charles Joachim, was found in the same area as Heimbach, shirtless and asking people for a phone and/or a ride back to Bethlehem. Police say Heimbach told them the victim had brought the drug Flakka to his home and the men had ingested it.
It's called the zombie drug because people who utilize it or use it go into a zombie state and either eat themselves or bite and chew other people. This is bizarre.
It's been a friendly neighborhood, and now, we had this happen so close to home. I have kids that play outside, and, I'm concerned that, about what's going on over here. And, it was all done very quietly, and that's the other scary part, nobody heard nothing, and now we have to live in fear, right here.
This is a bizarre homicide investigation. On September 2nd, Bethlehem police responded to 945 East 6th Street, and the residence had a substantial amount of blood throughout it. The landlord found it and notified the police. We could not find the owner of the residence or the renter. This started as a missing person case between him and several of his friends. As a result of that investigation, we recovered a vehicle in the Poconos in which there was a body in a trunk. The identity of that body is not released at this time, pending autopsy and notification of next of kin by the Northampton County Coroner's Office. As a result of our investigation last night, we charged a James Heimbach of 945 East 6th Street with one open count of criminal homicide. He is in Northampton County Prison. We also charged a Charles Anthony Yoakum of Bethlehem Township with abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, obstruction of justice. Today he's also being arraigned on a charge of hindering apprehension, in addition to those three he was charged with last night. He is also in Northampton County Prison at this time. I believe in the court paperwork there was a mention of the drug Flakka, F-L-A-K-K-A, which is a brand of bath salts, amphetamines, and LSD. It's basically bath salts on steroids. There are issues across the country with it. It's called the zombie drug. Because people who utilize it or use it go into a zombie state and either eat themselves or bite and chew other people. They exhibit delusional behavior and superhuman strength. We're looking into that factor in this case. I'm familiar with it. This is the first time I've heard of it in the Lehigh Valley. In the Lehigh Valley. If you remember years ago, there was a case in Florida where one person was eating the other person and the police shot him. Flakka was identified as the drug in that. There was also cases where people have bitten and eaten their baby and just went nuts on this stuff. And the superhuman events with you have no pain. That's why they call it the zombie drug. You look like a zombie. You turn pale white. There's bleeding from inside the eyes here, and you're totally delusional and you have no pain.